I leave every student that I teach with 3 key messages, 3 final things, and they've all been built upon previous days. Number 1 is the concept that you are loved. I get that across starting on day 1 for this reason. Some people don't hear it. I mean, if I ask some of you, the last time that your parents said that they loved you, I mean, some people come up from a house like that, and maybe it was yesterday, or this morning, or like a week ago, or something like that. Some people don't hear it. And I know, like, from a friend perspective, rarely are you walking up to your friends like, hey, I love you. But I understand, you friends, you express care. We got some romances going on in here and things like that. But some kids, some people I teach, they don't hear it. And that's why I do this job right here. The reason that I signed on with Healthy Visions the first time it was offered to me is not so that I could make a ton of money, because I don't. And not so that I could travel all over the place, because I love my house. I love my home. I mean, it's kind of long to take these trips and things like that. The reason I took this job was because of that. When I was in school, I could have really used, when I had low self-esteem, somebody telling me that I was loved, and somebody telling me that I was good enough, and somebody telling me that maybe I'm not perfect, but I am pretty, or that I can be a helper. Those messages. The real reason I have this social media right here is not so that we can like take selfies and post them, but that is fun to do. The real reason I have it is, if 1 year from now, life gets a little tough, struggle with like depression, low self-esteem, you're being cyberbullied, and you feel like you have nowhere else to turn, right? I get messages from kids that I taught 3 years ago. I haven't seen them in the last 3 years. They write me, I write them back that same day. I try and get you connected. I'm here to help. That's why I do that. I don't care if it's 5 years from now when you're a senior in high school. 10 years from now, you can invite me to your wedding if you want to. I'll come. I'll do the Cupid shuffle all night long. I'll white boy dance in that wedding like it's nobody's business. That will happen. Okay? Because I care about the kids I teach, and I try and be out there for you. It's your call, whether or not you take it or not. Now, the second thing I talk about is something called a reset button. Who in here, be honest, grew up with like a Nintendo in their house? Like some kind of old gaming system, something like that. Nintendos have 2 buttons on the outside. One of them is the power button. Can you guess what the other is?
Reset button.
It's reset. Those are the only 2. When I grew up, I had like a Super Nintendo. It's real old, man. My go-to game, I don't play a ton of video games. Who in here has ever played Mario Kart before? Be honest, all right? I figured most people. That's my jam, man. The first time that I ever played Mario Kart on the Nintendo Wii, it was like, there's the controller, but they stick it in the steering wheel. And it was weird. During lap 1, I was in like 7th. It was terrible. Lap 2, I moved into like 5th. It was great. Lap 3, I finally hit the groove, man. I was in like 4th, 3rd, 2nd. I passed that big old turd Bowser, and I moved into 1st. And I was like, yes. And I swung around the corner, finish line in sight, and then the worst thing imaginable happened.
You got blue
By what?
one. Big flying
The
thing.
blue flying turtle shell. See, when I say it, some of you have like flashbacks, like, oh, blue shell, winter 2013. All right, yes. This thing hit. I had no idea what happened. It was like a mushroom cloud explosion. People are zooming past and finishing. And I get a little hot when I play video games. And I freaked out. Like I wanted to throw it, but it was attached to my wrist. And so I just let go of it, and then it banged me in the elbow. I was like, oh no. And I looked down at the console, and there were 2 buttons. One was power, and I was like, I don't want to quit. And the second button, I was like, reset. Because when you press reset, what happens to the game? It starts over, man. You get another chance. It's all fresh beginning. And here's my philosophy here. Why do I think people buy video games? Is because I think they want to win. Nobody buys Mario Kart like, I can't wait to get 7 forever. That's a terrible goal in life. Nobody buys Call of Duty like, I can't wait to get shot in the head 88 times and never kill anyone. That's not why you're buying that game. You want to win. You want to be victorious. Now, we're not talking about video games all week this week. We're talking about life. And I'm not necessarily going to say like, there's like winners in life. But when I am growing up, and I've been in my 20s, and I've been in my teens, and I teach people in their teens, and I know people in their 30s and 40s, and etc., there are clear losers based on the decisions that people make, and the way that people live, and the way that they treat others. And that's what I definitely don't want to happen. The reason I throw a reset button out is you start to feel that loss going on with self-esteem, because you feel like you're a loser, or nobody likes you, or you're not good enough, or you're ugly. You press reset and you realize that none of that stuff is true. You are you. You are lovable. You are valuable. You are matter. And when you realize the truth, sometimes the game changes. What I teach about dating, you ever find yourself in a bad relationship or a bad friendship, and it starts to click with you, I don't want this. I don't want to be treated this way. You press reset and break up. You stop being friends with that person, and all of a sudden, maybe the game changes a little bit. You get bullied, you guys, man, I don't deserve this. Nobody deserves this. You press reset, you get help. The game changes. You get to decide, everybody does, the next chapter in your story. Everybody's living one right now. You know, if they put your story in a book, you know, they wrote down your story. Some people, if I read your book, your life, it'd be an awesome story. It might be a little bit funny, could be a little bit boring. I don't know, it might be depressing. And if it's a negative story, if chapter whatever was not good, I've come here, Healthy Visions. Starting tomorrow, starting on Monday with school, there's going to be a new chapter. It's life after Healthy Visions. And my hope is that, worst case scenario, things stay the same. I certainly hope and pray that nothing gets worse from here on out. But my big goal is for things to get better. For you to make better choices, for you to have stronger relationships, things to really look up. You might have noticed as I was teaching this week, I wear a bracelet around my wrist that says change your story. That's our big message with Healthy Visions. And there's a bag back there, and everybody gets one after this class is over with as like a souvenir to remember me by. And I could have put anything on this bracelet. I could have put like, don't stab rhinos, or some of the other things that we've talked about. But I chose change your story for this reason. If there's nothing else that you hold on to long after this is gone, I would prefer it to be this, that you're in control of your life. And when we talk about things like I mentioned, that I call the big five, which is drugs and alcohol, and friends, and how hard you try in school, and dating and relationships, and then your mentor, when you think about those things, that you'll realize there's a way to have a good story. Don't do it. Choose good ones. Try really hard. Don't settle for anything less than you deserve. Make sure you have people pointing you in the right directions. And there's a way to live a bad story, and it's the opposite of those things. And it's whether or not you can live a good one. And along the way, along the whole path, I promise you, this, I'm there if you need anything. Now, does that make pretty good sense? Is that pretty clear? Everybody good? All right.